I could tell you, I sit on the sales and partnership side of our businesses here. I have quietly suffered for my entire career of the admin work.
Yes.
It either doesn't get done or it doesn't get done well, but these are critically important things for businesses to get done with their team.
Welcome to Beyond the IMO, where financial industry leaders will challenge your perspective and offer strategies to help you thrive in your independence. Here's your host, Justin Woodbury.
I'm sure you've heard it been said before that time is the great equalizer because nobody has more or less of it than anyone else. Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Oprah, Elon Musk, Howard Schultz, Richard Branson, they all have the exact same 1,440 minutes in a day that I do or that you do. I'm sure you've also heard of the Pareto effect. The Pareto effect says that 20% of our efforts drive 80% of the results. If we apply that to us as advisors, we can see that 20% of our time, if we're spending 20% of our time sitting in front of our clients, that's driving 80% of the results. So for some, it might be a little bit more. For a lot, it could be less. There's been so many books that have been written on this topic of the Pareto effect and how to optimize your time. My favorite two books are 10X is Easier Than 2X, written by James Hardy, and Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. There's so many books out there, yet so many advisors that I know are doing their own admin work because they can't, or at least they don't think they can afford to hire help. And if you read that book, How to Buy Back Your Time, Dan Martell makes a pretty good argument that anyone can afford help. But the episode today and today's guests are Brianna Fain and Gabe Caldwell from Hey Quinn. Hey Quinn is an AI assistant that automates a lot of tasks around email, virtual meetings, CRMs, and so much more. I use Hey Quinn and it saves me hours of time in a week for a price point that anyone can afford. So I'm excited to share this episode with you. You're listening to Beyond the IMO, and here's my conversation with the two co-founders of Hey Quinn. Starting off, if you could just, for my own selfish purposes, what was the journey of starting Quinn? I would love to hear, like, how did this whole thing get started?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, appreciate you having us on here. And
Thank
Brina
you.
and I are two of the four co-founders of Quinn, which is an AI assistant for relationship-driven professionals to help automate their admin work. And we'll get into kind of the details of what that looks like. But overarchingly, like you alluded to, Quinn is a product that sits underneath one of our other companies, which is a venture studio called Plainsight Ventures. Our team are engineers and designers, and we've been building software products for over a decade now to really solve overlooked problems for professionals that are out there, really to make their lives better, save them time, automate some of those really painful processes that they have. And we've built almost 10 different products and launched them to market there. And what we do there is really kind of research, talking to professionals, what is taking a lot of time? What is painful? If we had a magic wand of a software product that could automate this for you and it could be um, correct and it could save you that time, what would that look like? And then we validate that problem with professionals within a particular industry to determine this is really a problem. And then we work with them to design an elegant software solution that they can use.
Okay.
So we kind of own that entire process underneath Plainsight Ventures in that venture studio model
Okay.
and make sure we're really adding enough value here with what we build. And we built tools that automate document creation. We built tools that help with data intake through online forms and getting that information into a database, kicking off e-signature and things like that. So really a lot around workflow, automating processes has been our expertise. And as far as Quinn here, we really kind of the best entrepreneurs are really ones solving their own pain points. I could tell you, I sit on the sales and partnership side of our businesses here. I have quietly suffered for my entire career of the admin work.
Yes.
You know, having a lot of meetings, needing to remember information, taking notes, and getting that information into the many different software products that you use, whether it's a CRM tool or other tools, drafting the many follow-up emails. It either doesn't get done or it doesn't get done well. But these are critically important things for businesses to get done with their teams.
Yeah.
And as I've built teams over years, they've not done a great job of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have either no data in our CRM, we have bad data, duplicated data, and that just leads to a lot of big problems for businesses, really regardless of what industry you're in.
Yeah.
And so we started to explore this problem. And we do have another company called Adio. It's a product that digitizes estate planning for families across the United States. We partner with a lot of financial advisory firms, and we brought this up to them, and almost immediately they were like, "Oh my gosh, yes, we have this problem. We would love to explore this solution." And they worked with us kind of in the design process, beta testing, and then since launched this to market to ultimately help solve their pain points. And now they're telling their friends,
Yes.
and we're growing by
Yep.
word of mouth. And for us as the founders of the business, it really feels great to not only solve our problems here. I use this every day. It
Do you?
gives me 5 to 15 hours a week back in my life, which is amazing. And then we're able to give that gift to other relationship professionals, not just in the financial advising industry, but other industries as well, to help automate that type of work.
You said that you use it because of you're not being, following up and putting stuff down on paper. And I think a lot of the audience that I'm listening to, including myself, it's a combination of I don't have time, and then I'm just really not good at it. If I'm being honest, like my strength is certainly not follow up and being organized and being reminded and taking good notes. And if it's not in CRM, it never happened. If I actually, I used to tell my team that when I was in a different position, if I followed my own advice, I would have been out on my butt because I never put stuff in CRM. So I can empathize, and I think probably a lot of advisors can, because what makes them good at what they do is certainly not follow-up and organization.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like I hear that a lot with customers. So my primary role is you and I have onboarded together for
Mm-hmm.
Quinn, and I talk with advisors every day. Just to get a better understanding of some of those pain points and to see how Quinn can address them and make them feel like they can focus on those things that they really got into the business for and things that really help them grow. And that is the follow-up is actually where we really started. And then we worked our way towards, note
Mm-hmm.
taking and scheduling. So sort of those like inputs that are required to really make sure that you have a good CRM record and things like that. And I think that's where our strength really lies, is focusing on what is that end result, what is that barrier, and how can we make that very streamlined.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to log into their CRM. They didn't get into the business to sit in front of their computer and log into all of the records that they're looking at. They want to be out there advising their clients, and we are just a bunch of tech nerds behind the screen. And so we love to figure out those solutions for people, and that's been the biggest joy on my side as well, is just figuring out those challenges for customers and making it work for them.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to talk about what makes Quinn different from every other AI tool out there. And I want to set the context a little bit. A couple of years ago, when AI, all of a sudden, it was all in the media. I don't know if it was when ChatGPT became available. I don't really know. But suddenly, I started getting emails almost every day from the same marketing companies that had been marketing to me for years. And all of a sudden they had an element of AI in their marketing. And all of a sudden it just became almost like this buzzword. And it's like, we have this breaking AI technology. Well, they've been using AI all along. I think AI has been around since the 70s or 80s, I think, is when it first, parts of it started being discovered. And we use AI every single day. We have been for years on our phones or Alexa or whatever it is. And it irritated me that all of a sudden, it didn't irritate me, but advisors would call me up and be like, "Hey, what do you think of this company? They're using AI." Like, they've been doing it for years. They just found out that was a popular term. And so now they're using it, and people really fell for it. So in that type of a context, I already know the answer in my opinion, but I would love to hear what you guys say. What makes Quinn, it's truly AI, what makes it different, and what makes it stand out from all the other tools that are actually AI, or companies that claim they are using AI in some groundbreaking way?
Yeah, I think our approach has been more unique because we were actually pretty slow to implementing AI into our software intentionally. So we wanted to make sure that we were using it for its value and the things that it really is beneficial for: context, ease of use. It became so much more accessible to the market. And so that's why it's exploded, is because the average user can now leverage, AI to enhance their their emails or, follow-ups or whatever it is. And we were hypercritical of whether or not it was the right fit. And I think that is what has made us so successful
Mm.
because we've been incredibly discerning about what should include AI and what are things that we uniquely need to build as Quinn. And so that is the differentiator is we've spent a lot of time working with customers, advisors, trying to understand and perfect what makes an incredible assistant, not just an AI assistant, but an admin assistant. When you have these things that need to get done for your business, what are you expecting to happen? And then we ask ourselves this question all the time, like how close can we get to an effective human assistant? Because at the end of the day, we need to think about the results that the advisors want, not the sort of gimmicky angle of, wow, it's really cool to use AI, it's a cool trick, but rather, are we using the parts of it to really enhance and lean forward in innovation versus just capturing a trend and or piecemealing it, just like adding AI to a part of our product and not really driving innovation forward with the power of AI. And obviously that requires an ongoing conversation with ourselves internally
Yes.
and with customers, but that is what makes Quinn unique is we have prioritized our time with our customers. Gabe and I both spend a lot of time, and we believe like that is what is going to allow us to best use AI in the way that they need it, is because we're focused on the problem that we're solving, not just the sort of like wildfire of conversation that's happening around AI right now.
Yeah, and I would add to that too. AI is such a buzzword. You can't turn on any type of news channel right now, and every other sentence is including the word AI. It's very general. It's not talking specifically what it's about. And there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there with different products where they're just use our product because it's AI.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
It'll suck people in,
Yeah.
and they're over promising, and then they get into the product and it doesn't deliver. And that's not the experience that the customer wants. That's not how we build software. And I think that's why we've been so successful is that we've been, like Brina said, very being a good steward of what we're delivering to the market and using the tool in the right way. And I would say AI is not a perfect fit for everything. There's a lot of hallucination that happens with AI there where, especially when we talk about important details that need to be accurate when we're working for our financial services customers, we can't make mistakes around dollar amounts and those type of things. So we need to make sure that we build a lot of guardrails, build things right so that we can have high level of accuracy. We can't make mistakes there. And I think other tools on the market sometimes are allowing for a bit more inaccuracy there, which is not going to deliver the value or the job to be done that really the customer wants. And so we've been very prudent of our approach around that and how we promote that as well.
Is it fair to say that saying Quinn is an AI tool is almost undervaluing what you guys have done with it? Because I'm assuming, I don't know a lot about a technology, but I'm assuming when I text, which I would love, I can't wait to talk about, but when I text Quinn and say, I need you to look at my calendar and set an appointment for so-and-so for next week sometime on Wednesday, and it will go into my CRM, look at my calendar, set the appointment, create the reminders. I'm assuming there's so much technology that goes behind that. And there's an element of AI when Quinn texts back and say, hey, you're all set, or hey, let me ask a clarifying question. But I'm assuming that there's an engine that is not AI that is driving all of that. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that is fair to say. I think we're in a strange time. I know you have a marketing background and I do as well. And it's a strange time because historically, when you're marketing software or when you're just talking about your software, you don't typically have to expose or discuss the mechanics of the software. And this is the first time we're having to do that because of the importance of its relevancy. And so I would say, yes, like there is so much more beyond the AI function of Quinn that makes Quinn unique. But because people have this expectation of AI and all of that, it has been an interesting, I wouldn't say even a challenge, but it has been interesting to like integrate that into the conversation while also acknowledging that we have an engineering team and we have a really primary focus that isn't necessarily AI driven, even though that's obviously a big part of our engine. But we are just always focused on that problem, regardless of whatever technology we need to make that solution solution. So it's an interesting time to have to get so technical with users who aren't really that technical.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting new time to have those discussions.
Yeah.
And there's so much expectation. There's also so much anxiety around, this technology, especially in the advisor space, which is an added reason to be really transparent and open around what we're doing and how we're building our technology.
I like that. So let's talk about Quinn. What does it do? So for a financial advisor who's using this that is horrible at follow up, whether or not they're bad at it in general, they don't have time or both. What does Quinn do for them?
Yeah, I can jump in. So Quinn is really functioning like a teammate. If you hired an assistant to come in, you gave them access to your different tools, CRM, email, calendar, and all the information on the web, what would you have them do?
Mm-hmm.
Quinn has about 70 different skills and quickly growing that it can ultimately take care of for a relationship driven professional. It is not a point solution that's just a note taker. It's not just a point solution that helps with scheduling. It does everything that a human assistant could do within those tools. So from a use case perspective, prepping for meetings for the day, Quinn will autonomously help you prep for meetings. It'll look at your calendar, it'll see who you're meeting with today, and then it's going to proactively go and find all the information regarding those folks that you're meeting with that day. It's going to send you an email, and it's going to be quickly listed out, all the important details. Last time you talked with them, all the relevant information that's in your CRM summarized in a way that you like, as well as any information that could be available on their LinkedIn profile. It'll review past emails. So it really pulls all that information, and then you can customize how you want that to look. So out of the box, it looks very nice. But if one of our users wants it to look a bit differently, you can use what we call our guidelines, where you basically just give it instructions like you would a human assistant to say, here's how I want my meeting prep to look like. Here's the particular piece of information that I want to have. We'll also include there is any open tasks that you have that you need to focus on that day. Almost like a chief of staff. Here's what's important that needs to be done today for you that's bulletized, that can be linked off to where you're managing your tasks typically within a CRM. So that's just one use case of many there. Another popular use case, and all these are a light lift to set up, would be taking notes during your meetings and then executing those post-meeting workflow administrative tasks. So whether you're having a meeting virtual, in person, or on a phone call, Quinn, like a great teammate, can be there, and its job is to take notes, interpret what needs to be done because it knows your business, it knows you, it knows your preferences, and then it's going to go take care of those things. So it can comprehensively enter that data into your CRM, which could be creating a household or an account, contact, opportunities, structured data like email or phone that might be dictated in that meeting. Magically, it's going to be put into the right fields. We'll help draft that follow-up email in your tone, not missing context. And then if you've talked about scheduling a year-end meeting in 2 weeks, it's going to go ahead and create that calendar event for you, include a virtual meeting link like Zoom or Teams. It'll add the participants, and then it can go ahead and send those out. So all those things from a workflow perspective that a typical advisor, sales professional, relationship focused person really needs to do, it's being done automatically. And you're not having to log into Quinn to click a bunch of buttons, remember your password. Quinn does it like a really high, powerful executive assistant, which is a big differentiator just on this particular use case than some other products out there. I don't want to have to click things, log in, do these things. You know what to do it.
Yep.
Send me an email, let me know what's been done, keep me in the loop. And if there would be something that I want to add in addition to that to my CRM, I just reply to that email, which comes from my assistant, Quinn, and then it will go into my CRM and add more information or make changes or do other things for us. So those are, again, just two of about 70 different workflow that our users can choose from there. That are going to be set up out of the box that can be highly customizable through that process. But just to list out a few other ones, we're going to help with scheduling. We're going to help also with email responses. I'm not sure about you, Justin, but my email box gets pretty heavy there. And If I had a human assistant, what would I have them do? Help me with the triage
Yes.
with
Yes.
this. I don't want to log in and be greeted with 50 different emails, stresses you out that you have to go through. A really good executive assistant would have context. It would know who the email's coming from, and it'd be able to draft a first draft reply. I don't want AI or anything to send it out without me looking at it, because I own that relationship.
Yes. Yes.
But if it can go into my CRM, review all past emails, my calendar, and have access to go to the web, answer a question that my customer may have, no matter how complex. What's the tax rule for an S Corp contributing to a 401k in Alaska? I don't know that answer. Probably a lot of advisors that don't serve Alaska clients know that answer. Quinn does.
Yeah.
It'll go look it up. It'll find the answer. It'll draft that. And then when I log into my email, I just review it, check it. And if it looks good, which most of the time it does, I just hit send. The amount of time that you save with that, getting through and back to your customers and delighting them, allowing you to scale your business, is an absolute game changer. So those are some, we'll stop there, but there's definitely more, but I want to be respectful of time.
It's funny. Our mutual friend Maggie, when she first got Quinn, I think she probably was still on a trial version. She sent me an email. I sent her an email, and I almost immediately got an email reply, and it had a smiley face, I think, and an exclamation point. And so the next time I talked to her, I'm like, what's going on with you? Like, you're not usually this happy in your replies. And that's when I found out about Quinn, but I think she made some adjustments, because now when I get her replies, they sound much more like her. So whether she made manual adjustments or Quinn just learned her personality, now they sound more like Maggie. Not that her emails were ever rude, but they were never with exclamation points and stuff. So it just was funny to me.
That is funny. Yeah, there's just like with a human assistant, there's some training that is involved with Quinn, and that's what makes it unique. Is we obviously have our own technology that we've layered on top of the LLM and the AI technology. We've worked with customers to create what we believe would be the best version of an assistant, and there are different rules, instructions that we've built, and then beyond that, we allow our users to train Quinn more or less in the customization features that we have, so that the email tone or other things that they want to specify, like workflows or meeting recap formats, they can do that. And that is really powerful, because what we've done is and we can talk a little bit about, next year and why we're together, in Southern California for our all hands and vision discussion, is we're rethinking how we design this to really make it feel more cohesive for our users to be able to train Quinn in the way that they would want an assistant. There are obviously, standard things that everybody wants an assistant. As Gabe had mentioned, there's some things there that they'll likely do across the board, but everybody has their own preferences and styles. And so what we're doing now is we're focusing on that, whether that is a different type of workflow or sort of tone and voice direction for Quinn, as well as integrations. Next year, we're focused primarily on launching as many integrations as we can to really make sure that we're capturing those tools that Quinn can have access to and help you run your admin across the board.
Have you guys found that some offices, do you feel like it has to be an either or? And what I mean by that is, do people think, or do they feel like I can either have an in-person human assistant or I can use Quinn, or do they complement each other? And I feel like I already know the answer, but I've never asked that before.
No, it's a good question. I mean, it really depends on the needs. I think there are some folks who maybe they're on the verge of hiring an assistant, like they're kind of looking out there. Maybe they don't have the sort of the means to do that, and Quinn can bridge that gap until the tasks exceed what any technology can really do. And then we also have clients or customers who the advisor will use it as well as their assistant. And how I've spoken to them about it is really Quinn can handle more of the repeatable mechanical admin tasks that are taking up a lot of time from an assistant. That particular assistant in most cases has an intimate knowledge of their advisor. They know the ins and outs of the relationships. They know, their preferences on booking flights or what restaurants, like all of these different things that might at least today, sit outside of Quinn's capabilities in executing. And they're the soft skills, they're the creative skills, they're things that a human at the end of the day should be doing right now. And so what's great about Quinn is it offloads a lot of those mechanical, dull
Yes.
tasks that assistants don't enjoy doing
Yes.
to make room for more of these strategic tasks and projects that actually push the business forward. So it really depends on the firm or on the size of the company. Sometimes it can just fully replace an assistant depending on the needs, and other times they just need it to supplement.
I feel, to Gabe's point, he said it frees up 10 to 15 hours per week of his time. If an advisor doesn't have an assistant, it would definitely do that for sure. But I have to imagine that if they do have an assistant, it would free up their assistants for 10 to 15 hours a week of their assistant's time so they can actually do things.
Exactly.
Other things. So
Mm-hmm.
either way, I feel like it's a win for, regardless of the office size, it's still a win because it's freeing up somebody's time to do something more important or something that automation can't do.
Yeah, yeah. And in parallel to that, obviously it's saving time so that you can more thoughtfully focus that time elsewhere. But what's also kind of amazing and what's happening is in the background is that because Quinn is able to react so quickly to emails, it's able to react so quickly to scheduling appointment requests. It's able to find information for you. You're speeding up your response time to your clients.
Yes.
And you're creating a more consistent sort of like flow of communication with your clients, which over time improves that reputation and improves that relationship. And that I think is like kind of what's not underrated, but a sneaky benefit of Quinn is that over time you'll see, I don't have to try so hard to get my client on the phone or to get them to renew or whatever it is, because I've created this consistent path of communication with them without actually having to change anything. Quinn is just helping me do that automatically.
Yeah.
And that is what we're seeing over time. People are realizing as well.
Yeah. Gabe, would you add to that?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, why does a client go with an advisor? It's because of the relationship there.
Yes.
So they want to feel seen, they want to feel understood, and they want to feel that they're important. And on the flip side, an advisor definitely got into the business to do that, but they're also trying to grow a business. And when you start to scale a business there, there's a lot of work involved, especially if you're doing a lot of this admin work yourself. So being able to kind of do both of these things without missing on that client experience there, but being able to scale past maybe 60 households or 100 households or wherever that breaking point is for someone to build an even larger business. And at the end of the day, your time's worth something. And I could bring on an assistant and pay a salary and all those things, which is great. And like Brina said, could be a really good fit for certain things, or our price point, is going to be a drop in the bucket compared to that and deliver, same value here or better here on some of those admin type tasks. So it can really help them do both of what they're trying to do. I got into the business to serve people.
Yes.
I can have a bigger impact.
Yes.
Fulfilled by this work, but I can also grow my business here and revenue and take care of my family on that side there as well.
So for the people listening to this and wondering how much does Quinn cost per month, I want to say how I use it first and then let you guys talk about that because I think it's such a good deal. Every night at 4:30, I get an email from Quinn telling me my appointments and everything the next day. That was a model that I trained. I think, Brina, you helped me train to do that because a lot of people get it the morning of. I don't check my email for the first several hours in the morning. So I've trained Quinn to do it the night before. I get an email that I can print out. When I come in, I know what my schedule is. Quinn is in every single meeting, taking notes, doing follow-ups, creating tasks. So if we're having a meeting and I said, yeah, I'll make sure to follow up or I'll find that out for you, Quinn will set a task for me in CRM, and it will also pop up on my Outlook. Sometimes I don't even go into CRM and I get the tasks. If I'm on phone calls, I'll make notes. But like the other day, I was in a phone call as I was getting ready to leave, and I was writing notes down. And then when I left, I was driving down the road and I texted Quinn and I said, I need you to set up a follow-up meeting for this. It needs to be online. So Quinn automatically created a Zoom link and all that stuff, or maybe she used CRM to do that. But and then I need these tasks put down here, and it was all talk to text, which I love that feature because it's not like you have to email or write something down. It was talk to text, and then within seconds, it was like all of that stuff had been done. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then the next week, a task reminder popped up. And I'm like, where did that come from? Because I hadn't remembered putting it in because I didn't put it in. But I use it for that a lot, to create meetings, to check my calendar and stuff like that. I use it for... sometimes for email replies. A lot of times mine aren't based off of research or something. They're based off of relationship type stuff, but I do use it sometimes for those email replies, but I use it a lot. And I would say it's no exaggeration to say it saves me 10, 15, even 20 hours per week that I would have to be paying somebody what is minimum. I don't know what minimum wage is. But I would think I would have to pay someone $25 an hour times that 10, 15 hours a week. And I get that with Quinn for an amazing price point. So what is the price point for someone using Quinn?
Gabe, you want to go with this?
Yeah. So we have 3 different plans available. Starts at $49 per user per month. And then our standard plan is $99, and then our ultimate plan is $149 per user per month. All of those plans there gets access to all the skills of Quinn. So all the things that Quinn can do are available for all of those plans. The only limitation is really the number of credits or tasks that assistant can do for you per month. So on the light side, our light plan's our smallest plan there. You get up to 1,000 credits per month that can be used to basically take care of things for you, whether it's taking notes, scheduling, replying to emails, etc. And then if you exceed those, then you can upgrade to our next level plan there, which is going to give you up to 2,500 credits per month. And we have month-to-month pricing here, so you can come in here. Yep. First off, we have a 2-week trial, no credit card required. So fully get in, test drive this, see if it's a good fit for you. You get to work with our team. Brina heads up onboarding for us. So she'll be able to meet with you, help to customize some of these things using guidelines to really get this dialed in for you so you can experience the value. And then you can sign up for a plan that's a good fit. And then if you get into a smaller plan there and you exceed that, we let you know 80 and 90, 95% when you hit that limit. That you'll need to upgrade. It's 2 clicks, and then you can upgrade to a larger plan there from that standpoint. So pretty easy to get in early with a smaller plan and upgrade to one that's a fit for you. But at the end of the day, the more Quinn does for you, the more time it's saving you from a value perspective there. So it scales nicely for our users.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, you guys. I think in addition to everything else that separates Quinn from other AI tools is you guys, because you guys have been so responsive and so helpful in helping that transition. Even for me, I know when I first started using it, you had just launched an integration with Zoho CRM, and you told me right up front, you're like, "This is new. There might be some bugs and stuff," but you guys were so gracious to tweak and adjust. But even after that, there's been times where you guys have reached out and say, "Hey, I want to make sure that this is working great." And anytime I've reached out, you guys have been so proactive. So customer service in a day and age of AI, I'm thankful that you guys aren't leveraging that. I'm thankful that you're not leveraging AI on your customer service side, because it's been such a pleasure on that side of it. So I want to just thank you guys for that, and just let listeners know, like, you when you call in or whatever, you're talking to a human. I think if Definitely. Not, you guys are really good at the
We're not that good at training AI. No, it's a big part of our ethos and what will continue. It's and it genuinely is a joy. Like, I'm talking to customers all day, and I think because there's just it's mutually beneficial. You know, we're learning so much about what's needed, and I think that just creates such a harmony with us and our customers, where we're transparent, like you said, about, okay, this is new. Like, this is a new implementation. We're going to do our best. And our customers have also been super gracious. It's been a really wonderful relationship that we've had. And even as we've scaled, we've miraculously been able to like manage having that connection with them, and it's great. So yeah, thank you. You're making me blush. I love it. It makes me so happy.
I mean, it's been great.
Yeah.
So 2026, you told me before we started recording that you had some good things coming up, and I jokingly said, tell me the good stuff so we can get this out early. And what does 2026 look like for Quinn?
Yeah, I mean, if you were a fly on the wall this week, I mean, your eyes are probably glazed over. We've been having so many discussions about what are some of the challenges that we want to face. How do we do this? What are the AI limitations? What's coming out with, new LLMs, things like that. But ultimately, our vision moving forward is to make this as accessible and intelligent as possible. We want to maintain the intelligence that Quinn has today and continue to improve that, and obviously continue to make it smarter and faster and things like that, but also more vast. Like I said earlier, our integrations are going to be a big part of our future. We want to both respond to the customer requests regarding that, but also anticipate some of those needs. So you'll definitely see a lot more integrations launching. In Q1 in particular, we're focused on redesigning the product experience to be a lot more streamlined. So obviously you've been in there, there's different settings, different ways you can train Quinn, but we want it to feel more cohesive, and that you can go to one place and really train Quinn and then have another experience where you're engaging with Quinn almost like a human assistant.
Okay.
And so we're breaking the mold of how other, ChatGPT, Claude, or even other technology software tools that have implemented AI are forcing you to engage, and asking ourselves what would be the ultimate experience. The texting capability is one way we got there in the past. Was like, people don't want to log in. They text their assistants. They're on the move. They want to say, "Hey Siri, text Quinn," etc. This is probably gonna make my phone go off. And so it always does in demos. And so it's been like, large conceptual conversations around where we really want to take this. But I would say the big parts are creating an experience that feels really personalized and custom to you, while maintaining that level of integrity of intelligence across the board, and the vastness of the integrations, and working with as many tools as possible, so that Quinn has the knowledge that you've built in these tools, upwards of a decade. Some of these people have been using these tools for so long. Yeah. We don't need to build anything internally or more things internally. We can just connect to those powerful resources that you already have. So those are, some of the discussions that we've been having this week, and the direction that we're going to go in the new year.
Very cool.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. You guys going to have like official announcements at some point, like in the beginning of the year, that people can find out more?
Yeah, so we'll be working on this through the first quarter. You'll probably see an email from me. Any of our customers I'm going to be reaching out to just talk through some of these things. And again, integrate their voice, make sure that they're part of the discussion as we build this. That's going to be my focus over the next few months in particular. And then we'll absolutely announce things as we move forward, probably preview them to some of our power users, and just, keep that conversation line open.
I love it. Yeah. I'll drop the link in the show notes, but I don't know off the top of my head because I don't go to a website. Like I said, I use my phone. What's the link to get to Quinn?
So it's heyquinn.io, HEYQUIN.io.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you could go there to schedule a demo with Gabe if you prefer a more, personal sort of conversation about Quinn, or you can sign up for a trial and you will receive an email from both of us, but from me, to schedule any onboarding, so that if you have any questions, even during your trial, you can just schedule a call and I can help you out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Gabe and Brina, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I hope everybody listening gets Quinn, because it really is a time saver, thousands and thousands of dollars for me, and would be for anyone who isn't comfortable with technology but knows how to text at the very least. It's just everyone knows how to do that. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Justin.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Justin.
For sure.